I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, March the 11th, brought to you in part by Livestock Risk Services. Of course, that's Dakota Moss. Their office is in the Exchange Building at the Oklahoma National Stockyards. He and all of his agents here are the LRP specialists. It doesn't matter where you're at in the country, if you're running cattle, they are licensed and ready to take care of you. Give them a call. If you're not sure about what it's going to cost, where your protection levels are at, they can answer all those questions for you. For more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, expecting around 6,000 head for their feeder cattle auction here on Tuesday. They're going to have 750 to 1,000 head of calves, most of them weighing 400 to 600 pounds. About 70% of those will be weaned. Lane did tell me that late on Monday night they did get a pretty good sized consignment, 150 head of little 3 and 4 weight doodlers. I mean, just little peewees, guys. If you're interested in something like that, buy and keep your dollars down, keep them for a long time. There'll be a time sometime where you can make a good profit on those, but check them out there. They're going to have about 5,000 head of yearlings. 2,000 of those will be heifers, most of those weighing in 600 to 800 pound category there. He did tell me that they've got 3 consignments of reputation quality heifers. There's 91 head there. Got Sites Genetics, and they're really top quality. Got another 100 head string of them, really fancy black hided, and then got a set of a little over 50 head, and most of those being F1 black baldies. But if you're interested in something like that, all of those will be weighing in the 7s. So if you're interested in some replacement quality heifers, they'll have them there for you. They're going to have probably 3,000 head of yearling steers there, most of those weighing the 700 to 900 pound range. They're going to have some grazing steers. They're also going to have some 1,000 weight steers there. He told me they've got several consignments of fancy home raised yearling steers right off the wheat, guys. So if you're interested in that, they've got 2 lots on their video that they'll have usually between noon and 1 o'clock in the afternoon there. Then on Wednesday they have about 300 head of cows. There'll be a few bred cows and pairs, but mostly just weigh-ups there on Wednesday. But check them out, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. They're on DVAuction.com. Back on track. And boy, after your fat cattle market just made an abrupt turnaround on Friday, everything's back. I mean, we're back chasing down new record highs for stockers and feeders. Of course, we advertised that pretty well in the last feeder flash. Burwell, Nebraska quoted some prices on Friday. Some 5-weight steers bring $419, and they had some 8-weight feeder steers bring $305 plus, and we've just never seen prices like that. Now on Monday we didn't see anything quite that high, but still records for the markets that they were posted in, and just everybody really aggressive, sharply higher markets on Monday. Packers have already tipped their hand. They're already bidding 203 on a Monday, trying to get some good fat cattle in there. They didn't buy hardly anything negotiated for several weeks there in a row. Of course, they'd slashed the slaughter, but apparently the orders are starting to come in for dressed beef cuts, because we had that really nice weather last week, and most of your wholesale buyers and the retailers, I'm sure too, are thinking that the grills are going to be coming out. They're going to need to stock up for their meat shelves there, and so the orders are coming in there. They're starting to pick up the slaughter a little bit. We saw a pretty decent slaughter on a Monday, a lot bigger than a week ago, and even a year ago, some bigger than that. So packers have tipped their hand a little bit. The Northern Plains feeders, the ones that sell cattle negotiated every week, they're playing hardball this week. I've already heard that most of those that have cattle to sell this week have priced them at $210 and holding pretty steady here this week. So we'll see if they can gain that kind of ground this week. I hope they do. But we saw a little turbulence on Monday in some of your publicly traded markets. Of course, your cattle futures ended up better again, which was impressive because they were so much higher on Friday, and to post some mild gains on Monday, that offers some more confidence. But stock market was pretty turbulent there on Monday, and this tough love shakeup there with Trump's tariffs, it's gonna take some patience here, especially from your row crop farmers, guys. Now you know that we can't fix things overnight, and if we're going to get things like we want them, start paying down this debt, start collecting some tariff money, and get things going back again, it's going to be rough here at the start here, but you just got to hang with him. Now China has already started their retaliatory tariffs. They started them on Monday, and we're seeing what the percentages are going to be on that. Some of your ag products are going to have an additional, they've already had tariffs on us, but an additional 15% on chicken, an additional 10% on pork, beef, and dairy going into their country from the United States, 10% on beans, and they do import a hell of a lot of U.S. soybeans. And so that's probably the most significant one, and it's additional 10% on that, 15% more on wheat and corn and cotton, and an additional 10% on fruits and vegetables. So they're playing hardball on the retaliatory tariffs there, but we haven't really seen the effects of what the Mexico and Canada are going to be. He backed off on a lot of those tariffs, and probably not going to know the true result of what kind of tariffs go on those two countries, our neighbors to the north and south, until April the 2nd, whenever he puts tariffs on all the countries we trade with in the same amount of what they tariff us. So we've got to look at that, but we knew it wasn't going to be easy to get things fixed here. You have to be patient here with him. He's trying to do something, guys. You got to give him credit for that. But I want to talk about a production sale coming up this Friday. My buddy Jim Felton at the Felton Angus Ranch is going to have his production sale. It's online only, guys. You can get on DVAuction.com. You can view the bulls right there. Go down to March the 14th and select his sale. And you can go in there and look at all the videos, look at his catalog there. I tell you what, he's kind of old school. That's what I like. I like old school. But if you're still wanting a big, long, rugged, athletic bull with good feet and legs that'll be with you for many years to come, he's got an awfully nice selection of them. About 100 head of bulls is all he's going to sell this time, but it might be the best selection that he's ever had. So check that out this Friday, and it's going to be at 2 o'clock Central on the start. Get into DVAuction.com and view those bulls. He's going to have a lot of them pap tested there. If you're at high elevation there, you can check out and select the ones that are best for you. But that's going to be a really hot production sale coming up this Friday, guys. Let's talk about your board to start the week out on Monday. April live cattle futures were up 30 cents at $200.57 after being up $4 smooth on Friday. June was up 75 cents at $197.22, and your back months on live cattle up 32 to up 75. March feeder cattle up 7 cents is all at $277.05. April was actually down 22 cents at $277.92, but all of your back months were up, and the farthest out traded back months were up big, up 35 cents to up $1.40 on the farthest out traded month there on feeder cattle. Look at your grains for May. Corn was up 2 3/4 cents at $4.72 a bushel. May beans down 11 cents at $10.14. I thought there might be more of a shakeup about that with China's release of what the tariffs are going to be there. There was some on the beans. But hard red winter wheat for May up 13 3/4 cents at $5.78.5. Talk about your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade on a direct basis out of your 5-area feeding region. We saw a lot of trade on Friday, not much before that, but whenever they finally upped their bids, they did get quite a bit of trade, and I say quite a bit, 60,900 head. That ain't much, but it's a lot more than we've traded for the last several weeks. That compares to 42,650 the previous week and 61,000 almost the same year ago. Your live sales of fat steers and heifers on a direct basis negotiated in your 5-area feeding region ranged from 195 to 203. That was steady to $4 higher. Your weighted average on live steers back over $2 a pound again. That just feels good. $200.28. That was up $2.63 compared to the weighted average from the previous week. Dress trade from $3.10 to $3.20. That was steady to $5 higher. Weighted average on dress steers $316.43, up $3.51 compared to your dress steer weighted average from the previous week. As a whole, your Southern Plains market was mostly 198 late Fridays when they traded up. And they traded a few more, maybe in Kansas there, 196 and 197, but that 198 was the end of the week market, and that was $1 higher than the previous week. Northern Plains traded $2 to $4 higher, from $2 to $2.02, and your dress trade was $2 to $7 higher, from mostly $3.10 to $3.15. So pretty good quotes there late on Friday, and like I said earlier, the guys are already, they got dollar signs in their eyes, and they're going to be tough to trade any lower or just a little bit higher. They're wanting to get a whole bunch this week. But God love them, and we give them all the hope in the world. Nationwide negotiated sales totaled 74,400 head, which compared to just 55,900 the previous week. There was 76,400 the same week a year ago nationwide. Of that 74,400 negotiated this past week, only 6,500 of them, or about 9%, were for the 2 to 4 week delivery, and your packers are not setting us up for a fall here, and they're short bought. Especially a couple of the 4 big packers are really short bought, and they are needing cattle already early this week. Negotiated grid sales, which don't have much negotiated to them, totaled 33,200 head last week. Forward contracts totaled 33,600 last week, and formula sales 260,350 head, which that's a little bit light on the formula sales for last week. But of the 4 out of 5 areas that we get information from on negotiated basis, which is the only market transparency we have, is on our negotiated sales. Iowa sold 21,300 last week, which is getting closer to normal for them. Nebraska sold 27,700, and I would say that's about par on what they need to trade every week. Kansas only 8,200 head, and Texas only 3,700, but they didn't get the $2. They got the 198 was the best they could do, and really didn't have much really late trade there last week, but they're looking to gain that ground this week. Now, a fat cattle auction that doesn't typically have a really good offering, but on Monday at Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri, they always have a few fat cattle. They always have at the start of the sale. They usually have, less than a load, but it's enough for some of your smaller packers to get in there and get a few bought there. But this Monday, they had 4 loads of Reputation hard fat fed heifers there, fed under roof there locally, and they brought those cattle to the sale barn. Evidently, they weren't happy with what they were getting bid late last week, and they hauled those Reputation fat heifers to the sale barn. Those fat heifers bring from 204 1/4 to 206.75 with competitive bidding in an auction market. Box beef cutout values started the week out higher. Choice cuts up $2.68 at $317.58, and selects up $1.15 at $306.95. I told you your slaughter was pretty decent to start the week out. Monday, 115,000 estimated cattle slaughter. That's 13,000 better than just last Monday, and 3,000 better than the same Monday a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. You know it's sales season, guys. If you're looking to change your genetics, you got to get some frame under these cattle. They got to hang, sure 1,500, maybe 1,600 or 1,700 to make these feeders work for these feed yards, guys. Limousine and Lim Flex. That gives you some of your frame there, guys. And they have been concentrating in that breed on feed efficiency, improved marbling, continued superior yield grade, and Cavanese. Put some Continental guys there, put some frame under them. For more information, go to NALF.org. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to preserve your livelihood, guys. Your real-time index, late in the day on Monday, after all your sales are completed, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer, up to date and current, 276.87. That was up 216 for Monday compared to the end of last week. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 273.95, but didn't include any of Monday's sales. So you can look for your CME cash feeder cattle index to gain about $3 here today. But coming to you from central Missouri, guys, I am going to be in Macon, Missouri at Lolly Brothers Livestock Market. It's a DVAuction broadcaster. They've got a good sale set up for Tuesday there. If you guys are in the country and you got a little time, come by. Then at the completion of the Lolly Brothers Livestock Market's regular sale, they're going to have the Galaxy Beef Production Sale there. It's a really top Angus outfit, guys. And you should get on that sale. We're thinking about maybe 4:30 or something about that, maybe 5 o'clock p.m. on the start. They are going to be on DVAuction.com, and that is a really, really top quality outfit. Check them out. Galaxy Beef on DV Auction here today on Tuesday afternoon. Let's talk about your big feeder cattle auctions on Monday. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 5,000 head. Now, it was a little wet around because they had some rain and wet snow in the trade area, but still, I think our numbers are going to start tailing off in a hurry. But the market was hot in Oklahoma City. Feeder steers $5 to $10 higher. Feeder heifers $3 to $8 higher. Your stocker steers and steer calves sold $5 to $15 higher. Just had a light run of stocker heifers and heifer calves, and they were mostly steady and a light test. The market reporters there, Federal State Market News, did note that they are starting to see some heifers come back that were bought for replacement heifers. And the market's come up since they bought those heifers to keep for replacements. Now they're coming back as feeder heifers. We saw that last year. We didn't see people keep too many heifers this year until the market started to fade there a few weeks ago, and then you started people buying heifers for replacements and other producers keeping their own heifers. Now they're starting to show up as feeders, and I think we're not going to end up growing a herd again this year. But a stickout sale out of Oklahoma National Stockyards was National Commission Company sold 236 head of 934-pound steers at $256. Now that's pretty good. You can't blend those down into some 8 weights, guys. They're too heavy for that. Joplin Regional Stockyards in Carthage, Missouri sold 9,800. They were estimating 8,000, and they ended up with 9,800. Who gets 1,800 more than they thought they were going to get? Most sales lucky to get 1,800, but it's just impressive the way that the cattle are funneling in to Joplin Regional Stockyards. The market reporter there called the market $5 to $25 higher. I can't disagree with him when I looked at the automated market report, but I wished he would have split it out a little bit from stockers to feeders. But if you look at this National Beef Wire stick out sale of the day automated market report, you can see that the trends were that much higher. And look at these impressive quotes out of Joplin Regional Stockyards. Follow through me on the best tested weights there. They had 628 head of 4-weight steer calves. They averaged 461 at 390, 392. 887 head of the 5-weight steers averaged 549 at 350, 367. There was 831 head of 6-weight steers in Joplin. They averaged 653 at 316, 67. 1,502 head of 7-weight steers averaged 748, weighted average price 289.84, and 1,273 head of 8-weight steers, Joplin Regional Stockyards, averaged 853 pounds at 269.91. Look at some of the heifers that were well tested. 616 head of 4-weight heifer calves averaged 455 with a weighted average price of 343.90. 943 head of 5-weight heifers averaged 560 pounds at 322.33. There were 844 head of the 6-weight heifers. They averaged 657 at 285.13. And 855 head of 7-weight heifers at Joplin Regional Stockyards, average weight 738 pounds, weighted average price on those 261.97. Give you some individual quotes from around. How about Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota? They sell 129 steers, weighed 915 at 269. That's pretty salty, guys. How about Russell Livestock Market in Russell, Iowa? They sell 80 steers, weighed 598, right there at 600 pounds at 368.25. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, come out of West Point, Nebraska at West Point Livestock Auction. 59 steers, weighed 899 and bring 285. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.